Talk to Me Tuesday.
We'll be starting in like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Hey there, welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday on a Tuesday. I'm your host, Madi B, and today I have a very special guest. I have Crisell from Dellightful Little Events. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Yes, it's such a pleasure. And we're going to get started with what basically you have to offer, what your company does. But before we do that, I kind of want to take a moment and reflect on the coronavirus. Now, we all as a country right now are experiencing the COVID-19, which is a coronavirus. It started abroad first, so this is worldwide, and then it came to the United States. So now we are all practicing social distancing and being from home. So I am here at the studio, which is right by my house, which there's no one here at the studio. And then our special guest is also doing this from her office, which is from home. So we are practicing social distancing. We want to make sure that you guys know how important it is to stay home during these times. It is very important that you guys are following all protocols that the city, the states, and the country mandates. And most importantly, make sure you wash your hand and hand sanitize at all times. So just want to kind of make sure that you guys know we are still available here, just working remote, and a lot of you guys are working remote and are able to. And for those of you guys that can't, let's just hope that this ends in a very rapid time too, so that we all can get back to our normal day-to-day. This is also something, this show, we're going to be announcing the Hero of Behavior winner. So I want to kind of tell you guys, just hang tight a little bit more. We're going to wait a little bit closer to the end of the show to kind of go over who the winner for Hero of Behavior is. So let's go ahead and get started. We have Dellightful Little Events on the show. And I just want to say thank you, Crisell, for sending me your shirt. It's super nice, and I wanted to make sure I represent your company.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and about your business. Let's start with a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I am originally from Brownsville, Texas, but I made San Antonio home about 27 years ago. So I do call this my hometown. I am a wedding planner, a wedding coordinator. We'll talk about that a little later. I wear many hats, but I'm a person who likes to love on people. I love details. I love organization, and I love celebrations. I think celebrations are super important. They're milestones in people's lives, and that's something I love to do.
That's awesome, and I can definitely tell that you love not just people and events, because your background right now has all these hearts and a lot of love. So you're definitely in the right area. Yes, kind of depicting the love. So I kind of want you to tell us a little bit about your business. So let us know, like, what inspired you, who inspired you, what really founded this company?
Well, I would say about 10 to 12 years ago, I decided to throw myself a milestone birthday party.
Nice.
And putting together all the moving parts, having to organize the party, having to reach out to vendors, doing all the fun stuff that goes on behind the scene of every party. And I loved it. I signed on to do, little birthday parties here and there and help friends and, do little things here and there for baby showers, for birthday parties, for whatever I could get my hands on just to get some experience. And then I decided, I am the type of person that likes to make people smile. I like to make people happy, and I'm super organized. And I thought, why not put things together and start a company? I'm naturally a problem solver. People gravitate towards me to solve problems for some reason. And that's a blessing and a curse all at once. But I figured with all those talents, I could put it together and start a company and event plan.
Nice. So a lot of people, and I know whenever we kind of got you to come on the show, a lot of people probably say this, but a lot of people ask, is delightful spelled wrong? because there is two L's. So just for the big elephant in the room, Delightful is spelled with two L's. Do you want to give us a little bit of the reasoning why?
Absolutely. I actually get that a lot. The name is corrected quite often, but it is spelled with two L's. My company was actually named after somebody very special by the name of Dell, spelled Dell, and that's where the name of my company came about.
Nice, nice. And you know what? You do have a beautiful website too. So if you guys want to read a little bit more on the deeper meaning, I know you guys have the website. I don't know if you want to share that with our viewers right now, what that name of that website is.
Yes, absolutely. It's www.dle, that's D as in delightful, L as in little, E as in events, SA for San Antonio.com.
Awesome. Awesome. So we'll definitely put that in a little later the screen, the contact information as well. So let's talk a little bit about your logo. Okay, so your logo, I'm kind of wearing it right now. It
Yes.
is. It almost looks like two butterflies, but then from a distance, it also looks like two hearts. So what
Yes.
was the thought process behind your logo for Delightful Little Events?
That's exactly what it is. It's two butterflies, two hearts. If you think about it, I do all kinds of events, but I do specialize in weddings. And if you think about it, celebrations is two people coming together, two hearts coming to be as one. Not only that, butterflies usually signify new life. They signify growth. And so I thought putting those things together, besides the fact that I love butterflies, I thought putting those things together would be nice in formulating my logo. Everything I do, one of my mottos is everything you do it in love. And so that's where the hearts came from. That's where the butterflies came from. And it was a new beginning for me. So that logo is actually very dear and near to my heart.
Nice, nice. It's pretty cool. It looks like you put a lot of detail into the logo and thought process towards the business as well, which it sounds like your business is also all about the details. It's what people don't really think of is the details. So, how prideful are you of those details?
A lot of people say details don't matter, people don't care. They matter. I'm really, really big into details. I'm into the little things that, compose an event, that make your event yours. And so usually as a person's planner or as a person's coordinator, I take that to heart. Not only am I very detail oriented, but I represent my client. And so I always, like to talk to them about what's important to them, what kind of details, they're looking to incorporate into their event. And I do take it to heart to make sure that I can execute those things for them, because I do feel that details are super important.
Yeah, definitely. I got to agree with you. So tell me a little bit of what services is it that you offer within Delightful Little Events?
Well, we offer several services, and it really depends on the client. So specifically for weddings, we do baby showers, corporate events, quinceañeras, all kinds of celebrations, if you will. But when it comes to weddings particularly and quinceañeras, we offer what we call a full planning package. We offer a partial coordination package or planning package, and then we also have what we call month of. Month of is usually referred to as day of, but we know that there is no way possible that anybody would ever be able to just show up and coordinate your day, bring out all your details, and bring your event to life. So what we do is we get involved probably about a month prior to, and then we also offer styling and design services. So we have a lot of inventory. We're able to, if a couple doesn't necessarily have their vision in place, maybe they have colors or something in mind, we come in and we kind of can form the creativity that goes behind their event. So we're able to design it, put it together for them, suggest ideas. Sometimes couples come to us or clients come to us and all they know is that they want it to be elegant and their favorite color's pink, but have no idea, what kind of centerpieces they want to put together or how they want to do things. So we do offer that service as well.
Nice. So that sounds like a lot to it, and I know
Yeah.
this could be for many, a stressful time. Okay,
Yeah.
like planning and putting every detail together and bringing a vision to life. So just
Yeah.
before we get into that, tell me what the difference between an event planner and an event coordinator, because a lot of people may think I just need a coordinator or I need a planner, but they don't know maybe what each job description it is or it entails. Have you? So just do you want to briefly explain the difference between the two?
Absolutely. So yeah, a lot of people have a hard time with this one, and the easiest way to explain it is a planner plans and a coordinator coordinates
Mm.
or executes. So all of the planning that the planner puts together, all of the vision, the coordinator actually executes.
Mm.
So when we're hired, we actually wear both hats. We're with you every step of the way, planning your event from beginning to end. But then the day of, we're actually coordinating. So we're making sure that your vision not only comes to life, we're making sure that all of your little details are addressed and that everything goes well. We're managing your day, we're managing your celebration.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely awesome. So, tell us. I know you kind of explained the two, but tell us the importance to hire an event planner.
Well, it's important, but you also have to evaluate where you are in your celebration or your milestone. We have people that are super organized. They're a people person or people. They're people. They like to go out and talk to others. They've done their research. They've kind of figured out what they want to do and how they want to do it. Those people are usually very hands-on, so they don't typically need a lot of help. We have some people that kind of started the process and kind of came to maybe a halt, don't know what to do next, and so that's what we consider partial planning. So depending on where you are, I definitely recommend that everybody at least have a day of coordinator. If you're not going to hire us to plan or partially plan your event, the importance of having somebody to coordinate is to be able to, number one, represent you. Number two, allow you to have a stress-free event. Nobody should have, whether it be a birthday party or a wedding, and have to be worried about, did the caterer show up? Did we run out of cups? Is the DJ ready to play our song? Who's going to cue the DJ? And so we do a lot of things. We actually put out a lot of fires during an event. We typically try not to involve our clients in this at all, which is why they hire us. Number of things can come up during an event, and we typically, are there to problem solve, to put out fires, to make sure everybody's doing what they need to be doing at a specific time, to make sure we're all on the same page about flowing your event. So it is important. It's a weight off the shoulders of the person who is having their celebration or their milestone. And then we have to think too, when it comes to planners and coordinators, we have a lot of intel when it comes to the industry and standards and how things work and how they function. We can help you stay on budgets, we can help you stay on track, we can even save you some money because we know things that you may particularly not know. So there are a lot of benefits to hiring a planner, but like I said, at least having a coordinator is super, super important for everybody.
Yeah, I know I've been in some events to where, I've thrown a party here and there, and it does take you away from your guests that you have there
Absolutely.
on trying to worry about the small stuff, right? So it definitely helps and alleviates a lot to have someone take care of those things, and, questions come about of an
Right.
event in 2 hours, 3 hours. So I could definitely see the importance of it, having a planner there just to kind of allow you to sit back and really enjoy whatever life-changing event it is. So I think that's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know we're kind of viewing right now on the screen a little bit of the events that you've done. Now,
Yes.
are all the events that you've done, I know we're going to probably show some pictures, but are they all weddings?
No, we do all kinds of things. We have been hired for book signings. We have been hired for quinceañeras, fashion shows, grand openings, baby showers, birthday parties, from 0 to 80, anniversaries, all kinds of events. Anything that you can celebrate or any type of a gathering. Sometimes people want to do a housewarming party. Anything as simple as that, we're available to help. So we do a lot of weddings, and we actually love weddings, but we do quite a bit of a few other things as well. So.
Well, I will say you do sound like you're super, super busy. Is this your only job, or do you also have a full-time job?
I actually am a little unique in the sense that I have a full-time job.
Oh.
I've actually been in the dental world for 25 years now. Also something that I love to do very much. So when I started Delightful Little Events, I started it, if it makes any sense, as a hobby. For me, it was a stress relief to plan things and to organize things and to put things together. And so I do have a full-time job, and I haven't gotten to the point where I need to, decide whether I want to lead one or the other. I feel very blessed to be able to manage my time wisely so that I can do both and I can continue doing two of the things that I love the most.
So something that you said that's a little ironic, okay, you just mentioned that this alleviates stress for you and it's a hobby. And it's kind of funny because as it alleviates stress for you, it creates stress for those people that are planning the life-changing event. So it's a little ironic how that kind of works.
Well, for me, I think it's something that I just love doing so much. And it is stressful. I'm not going to sit here and say it's all roses and butterflies. It can be stressful, but for me, it's a good stress. It's something that I really enjoy doing. Having to see the smile or the thank you that comes for your client once everything is said and done. To me, that's extra rewarding and extra gratifying. So even though it does sound a little ironic, for me, just because I like problem solving and organizing and decorating and being creative, for me, it's a stress relief.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So speaking about you being busy, what is typically your busy time of the year? If you had to kind of put one, or maybe there isn't one, but what is your busiest time?
Well, for me personally, I would say there's probably about two. So if you think about it, a lot of people get engaged during holidays. And so busy peak season for us probably starts in about February. Lots of spring weddings. Summer kind of dies down a little bit because a lot of people don't like to get married in the heat or, deal with heat factors. But here specifically in San Antonio, our biggest and busiest time is probably the fall. I would say October is one of our busiest times, to the point where sometimes we have events back to back, one right after the other. And so I would say October is probably our busiest time of year here specifically.
Wow, that sounds interesting. Not only October for weddings, but also like corporate events. That's like when Thanksgiving and Christmas starts blossoming. So I can just see how the last end of the year is super busy for you.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, so tell us typically, so, okay, you already sold me. Okay, I need you as an event planner. I haven't been married. Okay, let's just say I want you as an event planner. So typically, how long in advance do people need to contact you, your services for their event?
Well, depending on what they're hiring us for example, if they're hiring us for a full coordination package, so we're basically holding your hand, walking you through from beginning to end on the planning for your, whether it be a wedding or whatnot. When it comes to that, they usually hire us about a year in advance. Average planning a wedding usually takes about 250 hours for a planner. And so there's a lot of moving parts. There are venues, there are food, there's DJ, there's, the bride's dress, things like that. A lot of those things take about a year to be able to even get your hands on. For example, a venue. It's going to be very rare that if you say, oh, I'm getting married, in 3 months, that we can find, probably a popular venue or something that you like. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. But usually, when it comes to the planning, the stress of it all, and even the finances, typically people will hire us about, I would say, about a year out. When it comes to day of or month of coordination, as long as they are contacting us at least 2 months before their wedding, to where we can, have the time to sit, tie up any loose ends, etc. So usually between two to 3 months is good enough.
That's awesome. Is it true that certain days do become a little bit more expensive financially? Like if they get married on a Saturday or a Friday as opposed to a Sunday. Is that true, or is that just a myth?
No, with some venues it is. Obviously for us, the most popular day to have a wedding is a Saturday. Some people like to have weddings on a Friday because, especially if they have guests that are coming in from out of town, they're able to make a weekend out of it and still enjoy the rest of the weekend, maybe get some rest before having to go back to work. So Friday is popular, Saturday is the most popular, just because you don't have to worry about people, having to go to work or taking off of work, etc. And then Sunday tends to be a lesser cost, depending on the venue. Some venues don't, it really doesn't make a difference what day you're getting married, but that's typically the only vendor where the day matters.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So let's talk about a process, the process of when a couple gets newly engaged, okay?
Yeah.
What does their timeline look like? Do they have to call you right away? Because I know, again, that's where the stress begins. Like, oh my gosh, I'm engaged. What do I do? Who do I call? When do I start? Like, what does that process look like?
Well, what I would advise a newly engaged couple is, first of all, enjoy being engaged. You are right. The minute a bride gets a ring, they start stressing. Most of us females have been, mentally planning our weddings, some of us since we were little girls. So for us, it's very exciting to actually get that ring because it's kind of the green light to, okay, go. It's time to go. But enjoy being engaged. There is no need to rush into anything. Enjoy the moment. Those moments go by really quick. Your wedding goes by really quick. And so my advice to them would be enjoy being engaged. But once they're engaged, the first thing you want to do as an engaged couple is sit down and talk about what type of wedding you are wanting to have. So whether that be a small wedding, whether that be a large wedding, come up with a budget. Your head count and your budget is going to be pretty much the driving factor with all of the vendors that you are going to hire. So it's very important that as a couple, you sit down and realistically plan out what your budget looks like. How many people are you inviting? Where are you getting married? Are you the only person that lives in San Antonio and most of your family will have to fly in? Is it easier to get married in a different city or in a different state? So these are all things that you guys as a couple need to sit down and kind of plan out, talk about, and see, where you are. Once you have those key pieces of information, then, I would go ahead and call a planner or call a coordinating company to go ahead and help you start through your process.
So having a good base of the foundation, but it doesn't have to be the next day of getting engaged. It could just wait a little bit, relax, which is good. So you just mentioned a couple of things. So you did mention the vendors and you did mention the venue. So do you have the vendors already, like a network, or how do you go about hiring certain vendors? Is it tough, depending on city, depending on states? Like, tell us about that process.
Yeah, so hiring vendors, every coordinator has their network or their circle of people that they go to. I have been very blessed over 10 years to be able to work with different vendors from all walks of life, and so I feel like my network is pretty big. When somebody comes to me, I'm able to advise them based on their needs. If you want a photographer that is very artsy in how they capture your moment, I have about 2 or 3 people that I can go to for that. If you want a DJ that, is all about the party, and he makes sure to keep the ambiance going. I've got 5 or 6 that I can go to for that. So when it comes to vendors, we do have, of course, our network, and we are constantly growing that network. I can tell you, as planners, we're constantly meeting people. We're constantly looking to see their work, to see what it is that they do, because we want to be able to offer options for our clients. So we do, keep in touch with quite a few people, and of course, every event that we do, every event that we touch is different. Everybody's needs are different, and so the bigger your network, the more you're able to offer, specific needs for that client.
That's awesome. So I know vendors can be a little bit difficult to find, especially when you have a vision like I want barbecue food. Like, just to go at that point in time, you can never find a vendor that has barbecue food. So do you, Crisell, have a dedicated team with Delightful Little Events that helps out, or is it just you and yourself?
I do. I actually have event assistants. So my event assistants are pretty much those who come with me the day of an event. Depending on the size of event, there could be 2 of us, there could be 3 of us, sometimes even 4 of us, depending on how big your event is, depending on how big your venue is, what we have to manage. So my coordinating assistants, I have a few here in San Antonio that work with me. I've got a few in Austin, a few in Houston, because we have done events outside of San Antonio. And so these are people that I trust to help carry out a celebration or a wedding or whatever type of event we're doing with me. So I do have people in place. I do, try my best to keep them up with trends and things that are happening. And of course, once we have an event and the event is booked, we're meeting. We're meeting as a team. We're meeting to discuss, do's and don'ts for this wedding, any issues that may arise, any specifics that our client has communicated. So I always make sure that my staff is fully knowledgeable as to what we're going into. So we have what we call briefing meetings before a wedding, and we even have briefing meetings or debriefing meetings after a wedding where we discuss, what we did, what we could have done better, how we could have executed something a little better. So we're always growing, we're always learning. But to answer your question, yes, I do have event assistants who help me with the events when it's time to carry them out and to coordinate.
Wow, that's awesome. That could be a little bit easier of a stressful day in a big production. So tell us about some of the benefits that you or your company bring to someone trying to execute a celebration.
So the biggest thing for us, I think, is that we really do, when it comes to myself and when it comes to my assistants, I tend to gravitate towards people who have the same type of mentality that I have. And so we are people who love to do things. And so we love, we love details. Most of us have a little OCD, which is good. But we use that to carry out our events. And so, when it comes to what we offer, everything we do it in love. We're very organized. We're also Spanish speaking. We are bilingual coordinators, and that can help sometimes when it comes to an event or a wedding itself.
Yeah, I definitely see some of your decor that is on the screen now. The detail are so precise and so perfect. Like, it's just crazy how perfect everything looks. And I could tell you put a lot of love into it, which is super good. So do you have, let me ask you this question. So do you have tips for those that are newly engaged, and for those that are newly engaged, like, do you give them like a welcome folder, or, even give them some of these tips so they can feel a little bit at ease? Their first initial meeting with you, they're probably not even listening. So then they can go back later and kind of see some of the stuff that you provided.
Yes. So a lot of our clients, when they come to us, they're super excited. They just got engaged. For some of them, it's something that they've been waiting on for a while. So we do try to keep them on track. We do, every time we meet, we take notes, and so those notes are then forwarded over to the bride and groom. Okay, this is what we talked about. This is what you're wanting. These are the colors that we discussed. So after every meeting, we typically keep them on track by discussing notes. And then we also have a to-do tracker or a homework list. So we'll tell them on there, okay, the first step, this is what we're going to do. We're going to find a venue. After we find a venue, we're going to lock in the food. And so we try to keep them organized. A wedding especially has so many moving parts. And so we try to be as organized as possible when it comes to kind of keeping our client on track and making sure that, number one, they're not overwhelmed, because we want this to be a very pleasant experience for them, and making sure that they can stay on track with things.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, including myself, who's never been engaged, never been married, they probably have no idea what this process looks like, okay? And then
Right.
even more so important, what this process costs. Okay,
Right.
so what is the range, and you can give me very highs and very lows, from a very small, intimate wedding and based upon your experience to a really large wedding. What is typically, or on average, what is a normal cost for a wedding?
Well, that all really depends on the style and the things that the couple are looking for. I can tell you we have done a small budget wedding of $10,000, and our highest wedding has probably been about $220,000. So it really just depends on taste, location, those types of things. An average wedding, a lot of the weddings we do probably average anywhere, I would say probably anywhere between $50,000 to about $80,000.
Wow. Okay. So for all of you guys that are just engaged, okay, now we know what that range is kind of looking like. So do you only, Crisell, do weddings and or events in the state of Texas?
No, actually, we go everywhere. We've done Austin, we've done Dallas, we've done Houston. The furthest wedding that I have ever done was in Rincon, Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
It was actually a renewal of vows, and the couple, they were both from the island of Puerto Rico, and so that's where they decided to have their celebration. So we do destination. We've done a few, couple things in neighboring cities, but that is the furthest we've ever been.
Well, let's talk about that. So tell us about, I know with traveling, that makes it hard, not just for the bride and the groom, not just for the
Yes.
family members, but the coordinator and the event planner. So tell
Yes.
us about some challenges that you had to face, in particularly with this event that was in Puerto Rico.
So I would say probably the biggest challenge was just not being able to be there to, talk to people in person, to look at things. I was actually very blessed that the couple that hired me flew me out to Puerto Rico to be able to hire everybody and meet with them in person. So I had to do a lot of research prior to taking this trip. Had to do a lot of research into what I was looking for, what specifically they wanted. So the bride and I actually hopped on a plane, went all the way to Puerto Rico and did all of our interviewing. We talked to all of our vendors. We made sure to do kind of like a walkthrough with the hotel. So then managing the rest of the wedding itself would be a little easier to do from home, from San Antonio. So I think the biggest challenge for me is probably just not being able to meet face to face and have communication. I didn't have a communication barrier because I speak Spanish. Spanish is actually my first language. So, but, dealing with people in Puerto Rico, what I call one thing, they call it something else. So we did have a few challenges there when it came to conveying our vision or the specific things that we wanted. But for the most part, I would say the biggest challenge was just not being able to meet people face to face as often as I needed. Most of our communication was either via email, texting, and stuff like that.
Wow. I will tell you that does not really sound fun. By having to travel, and it's like you want to go to an island, but you can't really enjoy it because you're really there trying to get all the kinks out and all the details. So more kudos to you. I think that is super, super awesome. Now, we want to kind of talk about something that's challenging right now in our society.
Yes.
So we are in a tough time kind of getting through COVID-19 right now. So
Yes.
planning weddings aren't just something, like you mentioned before, that happen in 1 month or 1 month of worth of work planning a wedding. So these
Right.
could be extravagant events and can become a lengthy process. So how has this affected the industry currently, like what happened 3 weeks ago and then even going in the future, because we kind of don't know what's happening?
Tremendously. Not only did it affect us as an industry, it also affected our couples. And they're actually the ones that we feel it for the most, because the weddings that we had booked, probably up until June, most of them have been rescheduled. I've actually seen some of my colleagues whose couples have actually decided to go through with their wedding. This was before things got really serious, and before we were asked to stay at home and practice social distancing. But we did see a few couples who said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and have my wedding, even if it's with 10 people. I want to do this. I want to celebrate. We have other couples who, the first thing they did was call us and say, hey, what are my options? Where can I reschedule? There's a lot of factors that go into that too. You want to make sure that, you're not being charged any extra, you're not losing any money. So most of our industry is greatly affected. I'm in contact with several coordinators, and of course all my vendors and my circle of people in the industry, and everybody is pretty much affected at this time. So not just us as an industry, but our couples, and that's who we feel it for, because some of our couples were 2-3 weeks away from getting married, and now they can't. I know the last wedding I did, the groom's parents were not allowed to come. They actually had their flights booked. The minute they stepped in the airport, they stopped them from coming. So we had to Skype them at the wedding, and so I know that was difficult for the groom. But it's been a tough thing to get through, and it's something none of us expected. So we've kind of just bonded together as a community to try to get through it as best we can.
Yeah, that sounds like a tough time, because a lot of couples have spent, like you mentioned, a year, if not more time planning for their special day. And unfortunately, this is not something that no one pretty much foresaw happening, like, hey, tomorrow this is happening. So it's definitely a difficult time. Have you had to postpone, reschedule certain weddings or events due to the unknown?
I have. I actually, I had to reschedule 3 of my weddings. One of them, the one that was scheduled for June, I actually talked to that bride yesterday, and I think we decided to go ahead and try to make it a fall wedding. But you can tell she was, a little bummed about it, having to switch your colors because it's a different season. So we try to be as positive as we can in helping them through this time and helping them make these changes. But yeah, most of the weddings that I had booked, probably between here and June, have been rescheduled. I do have one in August. We're kind of waiting just to see, how things are going to pan out. But if things don't get better soon, we may have to move that one as well.
Wow, that's crazy. So do you have any advice for those that are watching right now that are either planning, are about to get married, have a big corporate event, or anything coming in the next 30 to 60 days in regards to venues closing, travel restrictions, the events having less than 10 people because of the social distancing? Do you have any advice for those people?
First of all, stay calm. I know it's hard. I know this is heartbreaking and disappointing, but stay calm. Everything has a solution. As your coordinators and as your planners, it is our job to find the solutions for you. And so, most of the vendors, I will say we have an amazing community of vendors, whether they are DJs, photo booth owners, caterers, you name it. We have an amazing community. I know it for a fact here in San Antonio. I have seen it in other cities like Austin, Dallas, Houston. And I know that everybody's doing the best that they can to help accommodate these clients without them having such a huge impact. So everything has a solution. Stay calm, and reach out to your planners, reach out to your coordinators. If you don't have one, reach out to your vendors. Everybody's more than happy to try to accommodate a new date, and again, to try to reschedule and move your event so that there is a minimal impact for you.
Nice. So due to this situation on emergency cases, if someone is just like, their coordinator, maybe they went out of business for this, there's unfortunate situations. How can they get a hold of you? What are some contact information that if someone wants to just get more information of, hey, I need her help, she's saying stay calm, I'm not calm. You're very calm, which is, I commend you for that. But, if someone wants to get a hold of you, what is a good way of that contact information?
They can call us, they can email us, they can reach out through social media. Calling us, our phone number is 210-467-7302. Emailing us, our email address is DLE, as in Delightful Little Events, San Antonio @gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Facebook, find us under Delightful Little Events, or even Instagram under Delightful Events.
Nice. So we're going to put all that contact information, no need to worry. We're going to put it in the comment section so that way you guys can just click away, grab the phone number, or whatever you guys need to do so that way you have it at your fingertips. So I know we're talking about so many years of experience in this business and the experience that you have. Tell us, Crisell, one of your favorite memories, just to kind of lighten up the mood. What is one of your favorite memories?
Oh gosh, I have so many. I will tell you my ultimate favorite wedding, or my ultimate favorite memory, is a wedding that I did in Dallas, Texas. It was my very first wedding. No clue what I was doing. But I love that wedding, number one, because they took a chance on me and they allowed me, they entrusted their day to me. And so, number one, it's not easy to plan a wedding, much less your first wedding, much less outside of your city, outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I always like to remember that wedding that happened actually 11 years ago now. Christy and Courtney, I will never forget them. I am grateful that they took a chance on me. But I love that wedding because I look back at pictures, I look back at all the fires that occurred that day, and I think what made me just love it all is that at the end of the day, my bride and groom had zero idea of all the fires that I had put out. They had an amazing time. And so that's when I knew that this was something I could do. But it was something that was quite challenging. Again, being outside of your comfort zone, outside of your city. I didn't have a lot of clues as to what I was doing. I actually pulled my mom into being my assistant that day, and a good friend of mine whose husband was the DJ. And so, if it wasn't for that wedding, I love looking back at those pictures. I love, even though my skin curls a little bit, I love looking back at that wedding because so many lessons were learned, and that was the foundation of a lot of what I do. I feel like I learn something with every event that I do because every event is unique. Every client is unique and it's treated as such. And so I love every event. I love every memory, but that would probably have to be my favorite just because that was our foundation. That's how we started.
That's awesome. And I know you said that was 11 years ago. And I'm going to say congratulations on many counts. Congratulations, because you made it through 11 beautiful years of still being an entrepreneur. I will say that. And I'm going to say congratulations because you just received an award for your business that you just received here in Houston, Texas. You were a nominee for 2020 and you won that award. So talk to us a little bit about that Texas Star Award that you just received.
Yes, so my Texas Star Award, it's actually here. It's a little heavy, but I love this guy. So I won this award for Best Wedding Under 75K. And so it's a wedding that, I submitted. Of course, when it comes to these awards, we actually submit our work to be reviewed. We're up against other coordinators. We're up against other event professionals. And so it's competition. It's a very tight competition, and so to win an award like this is actually a huge accomplishment, and I feel very blessed. I won that award for a wedding that we called Second Time Around. It was a beautiful couple who this was actually their second marriage, but it was such a beautiful wedding, and that wedding was so filled with love and challenges, and everything just came together beautifully. And so I submitted my work to the organizers of the Texas Star Award, and we won the award. So again, that award was for Best Wedding Under 75K.
Awesome. I love that. Again, congratulations. And I love that the name of the wedding is called Second Time Around. That's so beautiful. I'm pretty sure there's a beautiful love story behind that as well.
Yeah.
So not only did you win this award, you've been nominated for several other events and awards as well. In San Antonio, there's several other. The community is a big yet small community, so you have been nominated, but this is the one that you actually, it's almost like a tryout. Man, they go review your work and they go look at all your stuff. This is a real deal.
Yes, and they actually, when they have you submit your information, you're not just submitting pictures. You are submitting your budgets, you're submitting your timelines, you're submitting your contingency plans, you're submitting everything as far as like the vision, your notes. So you're submitting everything when it comes to this wedding for some judges, and the judges are actually people that are in the industry. But they review your work, and of course they compare you to other people within your category, and they evaluate your work, they evaluate your timelines, how much time you put into it, your plan Bs for a rainy day, your vendors, all of that is evaluated, and that's how they come up with the winners, and it's based, I believe, on a point system. But this year we were actually nominated also for an Antonian Award. The Antonian Awards were held here in San Antonio. The Texas Star Awards were held in Houston, and I actually submitted the same wedding for both awards. I had great competition when it came to both of them. I'm assuming it was a pretty tight decision when it came to the awards, because the other people that I was up against are great planners and people with amazing reputations here in San Antonio. So we feel very blessed that we were chosen as winners for the Texas Star Award for our couple second time around, which was Rich and Isabel. Love their love story.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing that. Again, I'm going to say congratulations. I know we're kind of coming to the end of the show, but no need to worry, because for those of you guys that want to keep celebrating, and when things get a little bit lighter to where you can actually take a moment to, okay, now we can talk about events. Right now, people might be in the middle of planning an event and they don't know what to do. And some people are like, I'm just not even going to even begin to plan an event. So there's two different types of people right now. So we definitely have to get you back on the show to talk to these other people. But before we kind of wrap it up, we also have our Hero of Behavior winner. So we're going to do that here in a second. But being an entrepreneur, Crisell, there is a lot of challenges. We've had a lot of entrepreneurs that kind of come on our show and talk about the challenges that they've had, how they've grown, how they've learned, and stuff like that. So, challenges are part of the growth. So what advice do you have to give some people? It could be within your industry, or it could be another industry. You entrepreneurs can speak the same language. For those people that are wanting to open up their own business.
There's so many things, but I think the biggest thing is just don't give up. There are things that are important. You're going to fall. You're going to fail. You're going to have, times where you're just like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But you have to keep your faith. You have to keep a strong foundation, and do not give up. I promise your efforts will be rewarded. It is a very rewarding thing. To be able to, run your own business and have your name behind what you do. And so that's why one of my philosophies is to do everything with love. Pray about it, be strong in your faith, but definitely do not give up. You're going to fall, dust yourself off, get up, keep going, do it again. All it does is make you better.
Yes.
So when you fall, you get up, you dust yourself off, lessons learned. I can't tell you how many times I have changed my contract because I have learned so many hard lessons. But in the end, it is all very, very, very rewarding. And like I said, everything has a solution. Nothing is ever that bad. I try not to take things so serious. I try to take things with a grain of salt, and I try to enjoy and love every step of the way.
Well, I definitely love your positive energy that you have. I know if any of you guys are entrepreneurs out there and just want someone to talk to about those similar experiences, please reach out. Her contact information of Crisell is in the comment section, as well as if you guys want to be on the show to talk about your experiences as an entrepreneur or as a charity or anything like that, that location or that contact information is up ahead. Just make sure you send us an email and say that, hey, you're interested to come on the show and talk about your business. I know right now there's a little bit, businesses are not really open, but when we're on the up and up, we want to encourage with that positive mindset that Crisell just said. There is a solution for everything, so we want to make sure that we relay that positive energy. So Crisell, have you heard of something that we do on the show called heroic behavior?
I have, yes. I follow the show.
Okay, perfect. So is there any way you could tell our viewers what is heroic behavior? Like, what do they have to do to win?
So heroic behavior is something that you guys do monthly. It is a prize giveaway, and if I can remember correctly, you are to like the page, like the post, and share the post. I think it's like.
Yes, you got it. Look, our special guest even knows. So there should be no excuses for you guys that are watching right now. But all you have to do, like you said, is like our page at D. Miller Law, like the picture, share it on your Facebook page, and one more thing, tag someone you'd want to take with you. So this month, what we're doing is we're giving out 2 tickets for Houston Rockets basketball season. Now, I want to be very clear. We are very aware that the season has been either temporarily canceled until further notice, but it could be resuming next season. So we will reach out to whoever the winner is. We'll either give you a choice or we'll also give you the tickets for the season on which they're going to be playing back up. So just because they're not in season or they're not playing right now, that does not mean you do not get tickets for the Houston Rockets that play here in town. So I think we're ready to announce the winner. So drum roll.
Yes.
Woo! Okay, and so the winner is Zyra Alfaro. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes, so Zyra, and I hope I'm saying that right. It looks really, really pretty. We will send you a direct message on Facebook. You do have to be 18 years or older to claim your prize, and then we will arrange how that you can get your prize as well. So that was our heroic behavior winner. You guys need to stay tuned for next month. We will be giving out every month, and no matter what is happening, we figure out a way to give you guys a gift, and a gift just to be awesome viewers and friends that we have going on here. So I always want to leave our viewers with one last bit of advice or quotes. And I know, Crisell, you did have your favorite quotes at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you want to share one of those favorite quotes that you have.
My favorite quote, I have several, but my favorite all time is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yes, and that is a good one, especially with what we're going through right now, which is coronavirus, COVID-19. I do want to stress the importance of staying healthy, of exercising, washing your hands, please don't touch your face, and having that social distancing. So if they're advising to stay at home, please do so. Stay at home so that this process does not lengthen. And through Christ, which strengthens us, we will be able to get through this. So as you guys see, I have my hand sanitizer. So at the end of the show, I will hand sanitize my hands, and that way we can get ready to go. Crisell, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been such a pleasure to have you on, and we will see you in the future. Thank you all for tuning in to Talk to Me Tuesday on a Tuesday with your host, Mari B. Until next time.